French jockey Gerald Mosse is entitled to feel gypped after copping a 10-day suspension from Victorian stewards for interference going out of the straight the first time in yesterday's Caulfield Cup, where the primary interference sufferer was Faint Perfume, Glenn Boss's mount in the race. In the steward's inquiry after the race, Boss told stewards that he was going to check regardless, as Faint Perfume panicked and was out of control with the blinkers on, and that Mosse did not interfere with him. Not that it is at all unusual. The Victorian stewards took an extraordinary view that Mosse should have been a jockey medic on horseback and moved out when he saw Glenn Boss was in trouble. Yeah, right, that'll work in a Group 1 race where a jockey will race wider on the track because the horse inside him is giving its rider a torrid time. I don't think so. Just another one of those puzzling decisions south of the border. Newspaper reports indicate that this morning that Mosse would be appealing the decision, and most would agree he would be mad not to. Chris Muntz can feel justifiably proud after joining an elite group of jockeys who have won all 4 major races in Australia, the Caulfield and Melbourne Cups, the Cox Plate and the Golden Slipper. And there would not be many in the industry who would begrudge Chris his win yesterday on the Gay Waterhouse-trained Desperado. It was a dour-staying performance too. The horse was very wide in the early stages of the race and was forced to go early when Tokai Trick, Monaco Consul and Alco Pop started coming from the rear down the railway side of the track, and he found plenty in the straight. He's probably a live Melbourne Cup chance, Desperado. His effort in the race was pretty super tough. I thought the Hong Kong galloper Mr. Medici ran a blinder at his first start for 5 months, and Peter Ho, his trainer, can be justifiably proud of both his horse's effort and his training performance. He'll be competitive in the Melbourne Cup, Mr. Medici, particularly if there's some rain about. John Mosse reported after the race that Mr. Medici raced a little fresh, and he did tug and pull going down the back straight the first time when the pace slackened off, so his run in the race was actually quite good. Manigar was good, Shocking was great, and the first 6 had a good margin over the remainder of the field, so you wouldn't think that anything could win the Melbourne Cup that finished further back than Mr. Medici in yesterday's Caulfield Cup. It will be interesting to assess horses like American and Drunken Sailor in the Geelong Cup on Wednesday, and I'm looking forward to see how Son Frontiers and Profound Beauty settle in, because their form is actually exceptional in Europe this season. I think the Cup may be headed back to the Northern Hemisphere this year. Young 19-year-old Oakey trainer Ben Curry can take a bow after producing Rethera to win a Group 3 race at yesterday's Caulfield Cup meeting. Ben comes from a very strong racing background, and he's done a marvellous job with Rethera. The horse was his first interstate runner, and to come away with a win on Caulfield Cup Day is an outstanding achievement. Young Ben has a dozen or so horses in work and only recently moved into Toowoomba to train on the track there, and there's no doubt he's going to be on the racing landscape, particularly in Queensland, for a very long time. Queensland trainer Rob Heathcote bounced back from the disappointing odds-on defeat of Buffering at Randwick yesterday when he took out today's Seymour Cup with Our Lucas, ridden by Danny Nicolette. He's been a very good, honest galloper, Our Lucas, having won 2 Ipswich Cups, and who knows, there may be another Victorian Country Cup on the horizon for him in the next few weeks, or maybe one of the minor races at Flemington over the Carnival. He's an honest horse, he's tough, he puts himself into races, and he tries very hard. It was a good win today. I know it is stating the obvious, but he's a very good horse, thank God you're here. His win at Randwick yesterday, after rearing in the air at the start and missing it by more than 2 lengths, was quite outstanding. He's a horse that's been well looked after by Pat Webster and his son, and I would expect him to be right up there with the best of them in the autumn. I think he's a very, very promising horse. Thankfully, the Takeover Target comeback saga has been put to bed, with trainer Joe Janiak announcing during the week that the 11-year-old will not be making a return to the racetrack. It was one of the sensible decisions, which is pretty rare in racing these days, particularly in light of the STC members voting against the merger with the AJC last week. Tilapia Downs trainer Darryl Dodson added another feature country cup to his mantelpiece this afternoon when he won the Horsham Cup in the Mallee with Texan Warney with Holly McKechnie on board. He's a pretty smart little galloper, Texan Warney, and there's probably another country cup in store for him as the Victorian Country Cup Carnival gets into full swing. Pardon me. Another ripping little horse produced his best today in the last, winning the feature sprint at the Seymour Cup meeting, and that was produced for St Arnaud trainer Darrell Archer. He's been a gem of a little horse. He's part owned by Jimmy Borg, a well-known AJC member's brother-in-law, and Jim hasn't been in the best of health lately, so I'm sure the winner produced today would have cheered him up. The little horse has now won 11 out of 43 starts, and he's a real little bulldog, particularly as he started his life as an absolute rogue, and Darrell Archer's done an absolute great job with the horse. I spotted a couple of unlucky runners at the Caulfield meeting yesterday, and none more so than No Evidence Needed, who got stopped in a tracks shortly after turning for home in the mares race on the program. She was going to be in the finish for sure, and she's worth following as she had been flying prior to yesterday's meeting, and I had a hunch that she was probably going to run over them yesterday after having had a soft run before she ran into trouble. I thought Digital Fortress should have finished closer in the 3-year-old race, as he wanted to lay in down the running, and when he learns what the whole caper is about, he's going to be a very smart horse. After his previous start win at Warwick Farm, veteran jockey Rodney Quinn told the media the horse was still on his L plates. Watch out when this horse graduates to P's. He's going to win plenty of races. Zach Purton continued on his winning way in Hong Kong today, having landed a treble at the meeting at Sha Tin. Zach won on Take Another Chance for David Ferraris, Romantic City for Ricky Yu, and he scored on the unbeaten Little Bridge for trainer Danny Shum, who flopped in at 2's on. So at the end of the day, Zach's had a great start to the season, and he can look forward to finishing in the top 3 or 4 if he continues that run in Hong Kong that the way he started the season off. Former top Queensland jockey Kenny Waller, who rode champion sprinter Chief De Beers in some of his wins, trained a winner on his home track at Roma yesterday in Queensland, when he won with Coronado with Leanne Henry in the saddle. In some other results around Queensland yesterday, David Crossland had a field day at the Innisfail meeting where he rode 3 of the 6 winners, and Alan Spradow also rode 3 of the 6 winners at the Mount Isa meeting. In Victoria, the annual Avoca Cup was run yesterday, and old veteran horse Escape Artist added yet another country cup to his mantelpiece and another country victory. He's been a fabulous bush horse, Escape Artist, but ironically he's never managed to win a race in the Melbourne metropolitan area. He was ridden yesterday by Jared Fry, who shared the riding honours at the program with Lincoln Coffey, with both of them riding a double. We'll be back with more news during the week, and it saves me writing it all down. I can just put a few notes on paper. So from now on, the News on Platinum Racing website, both in the Platinum News section and in the General News section, will be on video. You might get sick of my head, but at least you can open up another window and just listen to the sound. Bye for now.